Hi, this is Dave Edelman here, and this is my third video in a series about demystifying the strategic implications of AI for executives. And it's drawn from conversations that I've had with students of mine, especially in the executive education program here at Harvard Business School, but also in advisory work that I'm doing with companies to help them think about how to change their strategy, their operations, and their, frankly, approach to customer management based on the new capabilities that AI is enabling. And specifically, one of those opportunities is personalization. And frankly, I've been working at the intersection of marketing and technology on the possibilities of personalization since 1989, yes, before the internet. In 1989, I wrote a piece for the Boston Consulting Group called Segment of One Marketing. And it was drawn from a series of projects that I had done at the time that were just starting to explore how customer information could change the way companies did marketing and managed customer service. And we saw many opportunities going forward, but of course then it all was put on steroids when the internet came into being in the 90s, and then all of the capabilities that have evolved since. And I've been working with companies in how to take advantage of those evolving technologies and the necessary changes of operations for 30 years since. But now, with AI and with the kinds of capabilities, especially in terms of content creation and content management, the possibilities of personalization are just much more obvious and attainable than ever before. And in fact, I would argue two important things. One, personalization is the way to get the growth opportunity from AI. There's so much hype about efficiency and automation with AI and getting costs out. But what about growth? And personalization is going to be, I believe, the way to do that. Also, we're starting to see in today's society people actually picking the brands, the companies that they want to do business with based on how those companies use their information about an individual to create value, whether it's Spotify, Uber, of course, Google. And a lot of native-born digital companies have used this as the basis of the way they operate. But more and more, let's say, not born digital, more traditional companies are taking advantage of these capabilities also and starting to build it in their operations. And so together with Mark Abraham, who leads the marketing practice at the Boston Consulting Group, he and I have put together a book called Personalized, Customer Strategy in the Age of AI. That'll be out in October of 2024. And in it, we talk about how to realize the potential from personalization. And so I want to go through a simple framework in that book that helps to illuminate how to think about the many different dimensions involved in offering personalization, but doing so in a way that is practical and can help you think about prioritization. So the first thing in personalization is, why are we even personalizing something? We have to empower the customer to get something done. So we have to help them execute on a need that they have, a goal that they're trying to achieve. The goal may be to find and listen to new music in the way of Spotify. It may be to help them actually plan for their financial future by integrating information that they couldn't before from their own investments, their retirement savings, incorporating things like their financial situation through home loans, and maybe even their health insurance, and all the major costs in their life, bringing that together to help them create an effective financial plan. And a company that is cited in the book Voya is bringing together the capabilities to enable that. So personalization starts with thinking about an offering you want to give to the customer that empowers them to get something done, because now you're activating their customer information in a way that's going to deliver value. The second is, because you're using customer information, you have to know them. So you make a promise to the customer wants you to know me. And the way to get that information, though, is not something that can be done through manipulative ways, through sneaky ways, but much more open and direct if you want to make sure the customer is really going to give you permission, stay subscribed, and stay engaged. And so there are different means by which you can start collecting that information to know your customer. You can directly ask them questions. So for example, let's look at something I talked about in the last video with Home Depot. They can start asking you questions about a renovation you might be planning. You moved into a new house. You want to renovate your bathrooms. Tell us more about your tastes, your budget, the size, the things you want to make sure are possible, new features that you want to have, how many people are going to be using this bathroom, is it for guests, whatever. All of that not only helps Home Depot steer you towards what a recommendation can be, it becomes data that Home Depot now has about you and can be used to bring you recommendations for new products or services that might be of interest. That data is called zero-party data because you're just directly telling Home Depot facts about you. Home Depot can also collect data as you're on the website. What are the things you look at? What are the things you buy? Which ads you respond to? That's all first-party data that they are directly collecting. And then there's other forms of data, second-party data that could be from a media company that's using its data to provide advertising. And then, of course, there's third-party data that is collected by a party and bought and sold, although what we're seeing in the market is third-party data, because it often lacks permissions, is becoming less and less available because of changes that have been done in the Apple browsers, in the Google browsers, and Apple apps, all of which are reducing the accessibility of information that identifies an individual. But the important thing in knowing a customer is doing so in a way that is transparent and adding value. Once you know something about a customer, though, you've got to reach them. You've got to reach them at the right time, through the right channel. And that involves understanding things like triggers. So understanding what are things that might lead you to believe somebody would have a need at a certain point in time. So some of it could be truly basic. So one large department store, for example, for many of their higher end clients, knows all of the things that they've bought, the designers that they're interested in, and whenever anything that comes in that's new, that might fit with an outfit that somebody has bought before, as an accessory, as another color, that could be a trigger to let the customer know that there is something more that they might want to add to their collection at a given point in time. And it might be that that store understands that the customer tends to respond more to text messages or more to email. It's a question of whether it comes from the store, from a private shopper that the customer has worked at. All of those become things that over time the store learns through testing and uses that to optimize the way they reach out to that customer. When you reach out, you have to show them something. And this is where the content and the nature of the actual customer experience you're delivering comes through. And here's where generative AI becomes more and more important in the mix of coming up with what is the right combination of text language, font, color, background images, all of those different factors that can go into what somebody's actually interacting with. Gen AI now can come up with many different variations. And a lot of the tools by which you can send a text or an email message, for example, now can be set up with templates that you can slot different combinations of messages in depending on what's appropriate for somebody at a given point in time. And the more advanced practitioners of personalization use these templates to constantly test and learn different combinations over time. And for example, a tool that can help you manage a lot of that is from a company called OfferFit. OfferFit allows you to test many, many different variations, not just simply an A/B, one thing versus another, but you could have 5, 6, 7 variations of different dimensions of the copy, the timing. And for example, Brink's Home Security has used OfferFit in their renewals. They used to just give a 25% discount to everybody, but after testing and using OfferFit, they have found different combinations work better for different kinds of people. Some people may only need 5%. For some people, maybe a product upgrade is more important. For others, maybe they had a security issue and Brinks saved them, so they're going to renew no matter what. And so Brinks has found that the ROI from using a tool like OfferFit to test and learn across multiple different variables, they got a 400% ROI on their renewals. So this type of optimization of the content can have tremendous potential as you start to learn what works for whom. But learning what works for whom and delighting them, and that fifth is delight me, requires that constant testing and learning. And this is where operations of a company become absolutely critical, of setting yourself up in a mode, and we call it agile marketing, where you've got a close group of a team of people from across different functions working together to constantly get tests out the door. 2-week sprints. Get a bunch of tests out the door, see what happens, get the feedback, bring that into the AI algorithms, and use that to then experiment and try new things. The beauty of AI is that it allows more innovation. It takes the drudgery of setting up all the test cells or generating the 10 different images, executing that out the door. All of that is getting automated. But now what sharp people can do is look at the data, build insights, understand their customers, and come up with new ideas to test. But you got to get those tests out the door fast, constant. In fact, one of the ideas that we came up with when Mark and I were writing the book is a formula essentially saying the value of personalization is dependent on the number of interactions times the velocity by which you're testing squared. So to crib a little from the theory of relativity, P equals NV squared. Personalization value equals the volume of the number of tests that you do times the velocity squared. And so changing your operations to be more agile and test and learning, that's going to be one of the absolute keys to making personalization work. So to close out this third video, I just want to go back through what we call the 5 promises of personalization. Empower me to get something done. Know me, but do so appropriately. Reach me at the time and channel that's going to be most relevant. Show me what I need to understand that's going to resonate with me. And delight me because it's just going to keep getting better as I interact with you and you capture more information and you use that to add more value to me over time. We believe already that there are leaders emerging in many different industries from a personalization standpoint. We have actually developed an index to assess the quality of personalization that companies offer and have correlated that to their growth rates and profitability. And we have found growth rates as high as 10 points higher growth rate, as well as higher shareholder returns from competitors in a sector who are doing personalization more. And of course, that's a reason to write a book, but it's also something that most strategy teams should be thinking about as they start to look for the growth opportunities that can come from AI. So in this third video, we talked about personalization, the 5 promises, and what I would love to hear is how you are starting to put those into practice. Love to collect more case examples and showcase them. And you can look for our book, Personalized, Customer Strategy in the Age of AI. It's available for pre-order now, and it's coming out October 15th. In our next video, I'm going to talk about more deeply how to think about prioritization of all of the opportunities that are likely to emerge as you explore the possibilities of AI and personalization. Thank you.